March 24th, 1998. A young college graduate goes missing in Ohio. 6 years later, her remains are found. But who is responsible? This is the story of Stacey Colbert.
We're the Dream Idiots.
Every week we tell each other and you stories.
From history, from current events, from our own misadventures.
Each episode is like a box of chocolates. There's a nasty coconut surprise waiting, hiding somewhere.
Not quite, but there are curse words, insane quizzes, and even the occasional guest genius with a story of their own.
Oh, well, wow, Brian, that's much better than a nasty coconut surprise.
Yes, Morris, yes it is.
Dream Idiots. New episodes drop every Tuesday on a whole bunch of podcast platforms.
Hello. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to Kelli's Coffee and Crime Chat. This is Kelli, and it is June 23rd. We have one more week in June. It's amazing how fast this year is going. I am drinking Java Mama the Homer, and I think I have drank this before on the show, part of our donut collection. I'm getting kind of low in my Keurig because I usually just have a 1 cup in my Keurig after I get home from work, so that's what I'm doing. Our donut collection is gone. I love the Homer because it's, the pink icing with the sprinkles, and they had one that I missed out on. It was the vanilla cinnamon cake donut, and I heard it was wonderful, and I missed it, not realizing that it was gone. But it's not on the site anymore. But Java Mama is clean and green, air roasted, so you taste the whole bean, not the roaster. It comes in ground whole bean or the single single pods for your Keurig machine, or any machine that's like the Keurig, the K-cups. So that's how they come. And we also have tea, hot cocoa, and spices for cooking. There's also recipes on the site, and I will have the link in the show notes. Oh, so it is very good. I gotta get a drink of coffee. Even though it's close to 90 degrees here, I still drink my coffee hot. I love iced coffee as well. We also have a lot of cold brew. Java Mama does. And so many good iced teas. I just ordered the sangria tea that's on the way. We also have a new coffee. Limited, very limited. Red, white, and blue. It is red and blueberries with white chocolate. And I did order that. And I'm pretty sure I ordered it in the Keurig K-Cups. So I cannot wait to get that. Okay, we have a story today that I have been wanting to talk about. In the past, I've talked about the serial killer up in Chicago that people are suspected of, because many people are disappearing. Jelani Day. He's from the Bloomington area of Illinois, and Paula Turkovich from Long Island, New York. Those are the three that I'm keeping up with as far as updates, and I'm going to go back and see if right now if there's any updates I have not heard, but I want to keep talking about those. And this is another one, Stacey Colbert. This is one case I do not remember when it happened, but this is another one that needs attention. Stacey was born February 3rd of 1975. She was raised in Charleston, Illinois, and she was into tennis and, all different types of sports. My sources are from Ohio Attorney General.gov, 10tv.com, that's 10tv.com, NBCnews.com, The Charlie Project, and the Facebook page called Finishing Stacey's Fight. There's also an Instagram of that same name. So Stacey, she really was a go-getter. She thrived. She was always a hard worker, always always wanted to do things. I read one of my sources, NBCnews.com, has an interview with her sister Danielle. Now, which was a very good source. Stacey followed in her father's and uncle's footsteps and went off to college at Ohio State University. She majored in marketing. She also had an internship at the Olympics when it was in Atlanta, Georgia in 1996. Oh my gosh, I cannot imagine. I think that would be so cool. But she had an internship with McDonald's and was at the Olympics in Atlanta. Then she worked as a marketing assistant for American Electric Power. Now, her sister was not able to get a hold of her around March 22nd, but thought she was traveling. She was always busy. She was always doing something. And this was back before we had like smartphones and texting and all that, where, you didn't get a hold of anybody and you just figured they would be busy. You'd talk to them later. Well, when someone at Stacey's place of employment called her sister, Stacey's sister, on March 24th, Danielle, her sister, this is Stacey's sister, Danielle feared the worst. She hadn't shown up for work in a couple days. Nobody's heard of her, from her in a couple days. So the police were called and they talked to the neighbors. The neighbors told them they woke up around 4 a.m. to noises. It was a female scream and banging noises. They didn't get back to sleep, but they went over at 2 o'clock p.m. and knocked. They got no answer. Her car was in the driveway. But they didn't see her. It's just, oh my gosh, I just cannot imagine. Now, her sister found her purse, money, and credit cards. Everything was still in her apartment. Everything was. It's strange because nobody saw a thing that night. Even when the neighbors heard the horrible sounds, nobody saw anything. Of course, at 4 a.m. it would have been dark. She was last seen, her apartment is at Governor's Square near Kenny and Henderson Road. And both roads, Kenny and Henderson Roads. And this is in Ohio. Columbus, Ohio. So, that's just, they saw that, their neighbors heard the horrible sounds. Now, on November 27th, 2004. Wait a minute. I don't want to skip up here. My notes are like all over. Well, when her sister found her purse and everything in the apartment, still everything, like nobody took her money or anything, a receipt was found with a box of uneaten breadsticks. And that was dated for March 21st at 5:58 p.m. Now remember, her sister tried to get a hold of her on the 22nd and couldn't get a hold of her. The delivery boy was the last one to see her alive that they know of. Now, he claimed he never saw anyone with her or anything strange when he delivered. He was just a kid delivering pizzas. And they interviewed a lot of people at her work, neighbors, anybody she knew. Okay, the case went cold. And on November 27th of 2004, which is Delaware County, Ohio, State Route 257 North, a hunter found Stacey's remains. Skeletal remains. Now, this is 6 years after she went missing. And the hunter was searching for his dog and found skeletal remains under tree limbs and other debris in a cornfield. And this was 40 minutes away from her apartment. Now, because it had been so long, they couldn't find a cause of death, which makes it harder to find who's responsible for this. Now, There is a detective working on this now, trying to shed new light. How a case goes cold and you try to get some, new eyes looking and trying to find out who did this. Now, he's not giving up. He has a suspicion of who he thinks it is, and this person who he thinks it is a monster. Now, DNA keeps getting better, and they are really working hard to use DNA to find who this is. And of course, it's being quiet. We're not able to find out who this person that the detective has suspected. So the only thing we know is that he is a monster and should be, what's the word I want to look? I always do this. I freeze because I'm not really reading. I'm sitting here just talking. I'm going to have notes here, but he should be, how do I want to word this? Not known. That's not really what I want to say, but he should be known as a monster. That's good enough. But he should be referred to as a monster. There we go. I finally got it. Sorry. That's why it's called Kelli's and Crime Chat. Coffee and Crime Chat. Sorry. Okay. But this story this was 1998. This is how long it's been. And this person has gone free. Same with a lot of these other cases that I'm talking about here and that I keep doing. I want to do updates on. These people are going free. Somebody knows something that happened to Stacey, maybe more than one person. So I'm hoping, because we don't know, they're not letting it out. I'm so hoping that they are getting close to putting this person away. And I will keep up on this case as well as my others for updates if I hear anything. You can also follow me on Instagram at Kelli's Coffee Crime Chat. My email, kellyscoffeecrime@gmail.com. And I'm also on Twitter at Kelly's CCC Pod. Facebook, Kelli's Coffee and Crime Chat. I just want to name all. They'll all be in the show notes. But if anybody has heard anything else about this case, I am on there. Or if you have heard about any other cases that are unsolved or need attention, you can always get in touch with me. I do center around the Midwest, but I do go further out, like with Paula Turkovich. She's in New York. That case needs attention. It needs to be known everywhere. I interview her mother back in episode 37, and it's very interesting, and everybody should hear this case. There's so much corruption surrounding this case. So you can go back, and I also did an episode where I updated those cases, and I'm going to do the same for Stacey Colbert. So I am so hoping we find out who did this. I mean, this girl was thriving. She was just a go-getter. She did, it's sad. It's so sad when I don't like to hear about young people who have a future. And that is what a lot of these cases I talk about that needs attention. These people have so much ahead of them. And then their life gets cut short and the person who's responsible is free. So, I'm just hoping they find who it is. So, that is episode 44. I am just in shock that I made it this far. It's almost been a year since I started this podcast. It'll be 2 more months since I started. I think it was about the end of August, beginning of September. So I am just amazed, but I want to thank everybody for listening. Everybody for your support and giving shout outs. I also love giving shout outs. And again, I'm going to name off Finishing Stacey's Fight. It's Stacey, Stacey, and that is on Facebook and Instagram. You can go to those pages for more information on this case. So please follow them, these pages, if you're on Instagram or Facebook. And I want to give some shout outs here. I am listening to, one of my favorite podcasts is Murder with My Husband. And they have a new one called Binged. And I may have talked about this before. Highly, highly recommended. Binged is very good. Peyton tells stories about in like series, like she did. Right now it's Parents Who Kill, where she does the latest one is on Susan Smith of was it North Carolina or South Carolina? I can never remember. South Carolina, where she drove her two little boys into John D. Long Lake. I'm pretty sure that was the name of it. I remember that story like it was yesterday. And boy, listening to that again just brought back so many memories. We were all talking about this at work because I worked second shift at that time. Before she was even like arrested for it. We were all talking about it. But that's a highly recommended one, as well as Murder with My Husband. They have a good episode where it's listener tales, and I'm going to tell you what, the one that's on there now, the latest one with the listener tales, it's Daisy's, their dog's name is Daisy, and it's named after her. These are very good. They're very good episodes, but I'm going to tell you what, this one I heard today freaked me out. I can't remember. It's Daisy's something. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name of it, but you would see it because it's right at the top. It's one of the latest on Murder with My Husband. I also am listening, of course, to The Suspended Sentence, one of my favorites. I know I've shouted that one out before. Many other ones. Dream Idiots, who had the trailer at the beginning. I am so thankful for that. I've never put a trailer on here, and that was my first time. What I like about these guys, you always learn something new with them. Always learn something new when you listen to what they have to say. We did a trailer, so swap both of our trailers, which I love to do that. So if any podcasts out there are interested in doing that, that's something that now I know how to do, and I know how to put a trailer into my podcast. So I amaze myself that I was able to figure that out, because I'm not very savvy on this stuff, because I'm just starting out. I don't make any money at this. But one of the things that got me into podcasting was to help a lot of these cases that need attention, like today's case. So that's the big reason I got into podcasting. I did watch on Netflix. I was going to try to always end my episodes talking about what I've seen. A Man Called Otto with Tom Hanks. Oh man, that was good. I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody else that has seen it, but boy, it just moved me to tears. I thought that was very good. I didn't think I was going to like it. And I'm like, okay, it's on Netflix. It's a new movie. I'll watch it, and I like Tom Hanks. It was very good. Oh my gosh, very good movie. A lot different than what I normally watch, because I'm into like thrillers and crime and scary stuff, or just thrillers. I love, edge of your seat stuff. But this was a good movie. I'm trying to think. I think that was probably the only thing I've watched new, because I finished the series I talked about last week based on a true story. I finished that on Peacock. I am in the middle of the Fatal Attraction series on Paramount Plus. I think that's what it's on. That's not bad. It's not bad for a series. It's actually pretty good, and I am kind of in the middle of it. Fatal Attraction is one of my favorite movies, and it's really that's one of my favorite movies. I can't say it's better than that at all, but it's good. And of course, I'm not all the way through it yet, but I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think I've really watched that much lately. I've been so busy crafting and working, but that is all for today. I think I have a case for next week, but if anybody else has any suggestions, do not hesitate to let me know, because I always look for suggestions on cases that I have not heard about and that are not widely reported. That's what I like to talk about, or cases that are not widely reported. And I also wanted to give just remembered a shout out, and I've talked about this one before on YouTube, Lamont at Large. Watch that one on YouTube. Very good. He goes to the different places while he's doing the podcast. He'll like walk down the street, show the house, like there's the house right there, or there's where it was if it's knocked down. The latest one takes place in Kansas City, Missouri. It's a case I never heard of before. And after 30 years, they found out who did it through DNA. And I love, that just fascinates me. And I love that they did that. Highly recommended on YouTube. And the cases are not very long, but it's nice to show. And then he goes to the cemetery and pays respects to the victims, and he talks about them. Very, very good on YouTube. That is Lamont at Large. Okay, that is all for today. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. We are 1 week away from July, so I'm excited because I am off work 4th of July week, and I always take that week. I love that time of year, and it's I'm not a big fan of summer because of the heat, but I just love 4th of July cookouts with hot dogs and hamburgers and whatever. I'm just hoping we do something like that, or either we do something like that, or we go to somebody's house that does that. I like to have drinks and food on the grill. It's just so good. Okay, that's all for today, and everybody out there have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time.